This is Jackets Debrief, a show about the Columbus Blue Jackets, the National Hockey League, and part of the Hockey Podcast Network. Hello, everybody, and I'm back. It's been a long time. Took about a good year from the show. I do want to thank you all. If anybody's out there listening, or if you do end up coming across the episode and listening, hey, I'm happy to be back. Happy to do the show again. I'll give you a little explanation. I always did this show because I wanted to. Because I wanted to talk about hockey and do that, and had some other things on my plate there for a while, and I figured this year I kind of wanted to get back into starting the show back up. So here we are, another year of Jackets Debrief coming back. Going to be a weekly show this time around. We'll be doing some other stuff along the way as far as different things, and I might try and jump on some other things going on with the Hockey Podcast Network. Who, when I said I wanted to jump back on the show, they were more than happy to say, "Yeah, come on back. Let's get it rolling again." So I'm happy to be here. Do want to do a quick shout out for our sponsor here on the show. Oh no, there we go. So guys, it's hockey season. It's time to hit the ice again. It's going to be awesome. And hey, if you're looking for another way to make it, maybe you're one of those people who likes to, make the game a little more interesting, put a little money on it, get to DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers can bet $5 on any team and get $200 in free bets. This week, I'm excited to watch all the Blue Jackets games. They start the season with Carolina, then we get Tampa Bay, then we get who do we have after that? Then we go to St. Louis on Saturday. So maybe I do put the $5 down now to get yourself started, and maybe save your free bets for what looks to be some better odds in the futures on some games. But let's see how the team goes. That's going to be a recurring theme for the Blue Jackets for a while, seeing how things go. But if that wasn't enough for you, they've got same game parlays going on, combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot at a bigger payout. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you like. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5 on any team to win their game and get $200 in free bets if they do. That's code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We will have a few details in there on what's going on. Looks like we're a few minutes into the show and we've already got our first technical difficulty. So if you're watching the video version, I am very sorry. But I don't know if you're going to see a whole lot of me because this thing has been acting weird on me already. But hey, we're going to move forward with the show and have a good time. So today the Blue Jackets set their final roster for the season, or not the final roster. It's the game day roster there. As far as who's going to be there for opening night. I'm going to do a lot of this. I'll just share screens quite a bit here if you're watching the video version, so you can see what I'm seeing as we're talking about it here. Some of the things that I'm personally excited about, Kent Johnson making the opening day roster, I'm really excited about. I'm really quite happy that David Jiricek has decided to go to Cleveland. From what I understand, that choice, it was kind of up to him whether he wanted to go to the AHL, wanted to go to, I believe it was the WHL. He's kind of in a weird situation as an international player, or he could go back to his home country to play for the season. And I think the reason he chose Cleveland is that he really wants to get a chance for that call up to the NHL roster, which is what I'm hoping for him. It's what I think we all want to see out of him. So I'm excited he's staying, close to home here anyway. So how are these going to shake out in lines come opening night? I think it's pretty well set that we're going to be seeing the Gaudreau. So weird saying Johnny Gaudreau is a member of the Blue Jackets. It's going to be cool to see Gaudreau. It's the Gaudreau, Boone Jenner, Patrick Laine line. After that, things are kind kind of wide open. I mean, Matthew Olivier is obviously going to be on the bottom line. We got Liam Foodie. That's another interesting one here. This is a guy who I think he has a chance to prove himself here. It's so strange to think back because when they were doing the bubble playoffs, he was such a difference maker. And since then, he really hasn't done a lot, which is the weird thing. So I'm happy to see him get a chance at this, to get a chance to really turn himself into something here with it. Oh, you guys can even see when I'm Googling stuff now because I want to pull up his hockey reference. Yeah, he's had such a strange career. I mean, he had that great playoff bubble, and then a couple of games, in the 2021 season, 24 games, only 4 assists. Last year, only 1 game. So this really feels like a chance for him to show that he can step up. But really, Kent Johnson, who I'm excited for, Igor Chinikov with the preseason he had, scoring goals left and right. If this team can have Line and Goudreau on that top line, and Igor shooting the way he can and scoring goals the way he can on a second or third line, they're going to be, they can be a tough out for teams. And that's what I guess this is a good time to talk about the whole premise we've had of people talking about this team and saying, because a lot of the previews have come out and people saying, oh, the Blue Jackets are 7th or 8th in the division, and the over-under lines are normally putting them at lower points than they had last year, which I don't think that's going to be the situation. I don't think they're going to be lower at all in what's happening. I think they will be an improvement, but it's a weird team this year. And where I think a lot of the preview guys are, and the thing is, they'll all admit this is a weakness in their models. The models are all based on what historical performance is like. Well, where that has a blind spot are teams that are built of, we've got a bunch of young pieces, and those young pieces need to be good. That's really where the Blue Jackets are at this point. When you look at their team, the amount of young guys who they are counting on to really do stuff. I mean, Jack Roslovic is one of the older of the young guys at 25. As far as guys who do not have an established NHL career, Igor Chinikov, Kent Johnson, Cole Sillinger. On the defensive side of things, we're looking for Adam Boquist to take a step up. Nick Blankenberg, guys who just don't have big histories in the NHL. So that's where this team is going to be a little different, seeing what they can do. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? If you held a gun to my head right now, no. If I had to just make that call, no. Why do I say that? When I look at the division and I look at where they'd have to be, because again, you have to get at least 5th place to have a chance. And that's if the Metro takes both the wild card spots, which is going to be really tough with how good the Atlantic is this year. But you think about it. Okay, Carolina's taken the 1 spot. That's where I'm pretty just that's where I think we're going to hit. After that, you got the Rangers. I think the Rangers are going to be a hard time to get. Now, there's one place where the Rangers might have some issues, but say Igor Shesterkin does not replicate the magic he did last season. If that's the case, then maybe the Rangers fall apart a little bit. But if they're going to fall apart all the way out of the playoffs, that's tough. After them, so we've got Hurricanes, Rangers, then we've got Pittsburgh and Washington. 2 teams that are kind of in that similar place of, these are old veteran teams who are really good. I mean, have shown in the past they have that ability to turn it on when they need to, and they can just make it into the playoffs. And then, will either of those teams make it far in the playoffs? I don't know. That's kind of a tough ask for teams that are that old, but making the playoffs is something they've done year in and year out. The New York Islanders, a team that was really good for a long time, but last year just had a comedy of errors between all the COVID hits they took, between all the issues of starting the season 2 weeks on the road. That's a tough thing for any team to overcome. So, I mean, that's 5 teams right there that I think are maybe better than the Blue Jackets. Now, could the Blue Jackets be better than the Islanders? Maybe. I mean, it's possible they have a better season. The Devils, a lot of people are calling the Devils better than the Blue Jackets. Are they? I don't know. It's tough because the Devils are in the same boat as Columbus. It's just that the rest of the league is giving their unproven talent a lot more credit than Columbus's. And I mean, granted, they have number one picks in there, so that's going to happen. The one team we're not getting any, the one team that people aren't saying that is better than us is Philadelphia essentially at this point. But even then, they're coached by John Tortorella now. We all know John Tortorella teams are just hard to play against. I mean, that's what the Blue Jackets' identity was for years. So this team, if I, as a Blue Jackets fan, speaking to Blue Jackets fans out there, what am I wanting this year? What I am wanting is I'm wanting to watch games. I'm wanting to see that line of Gaudreau and line A click and put up lots of points because I have both of those players for the next 4 years. I'm wanting to see Cole Sillinger really step into a 1 or 2C role. I'm wanting to see Kent Johnson and Igor Chinakhov really look like dangerous weapons. That's a big ask out of Kent Johnson with his first year in the league, but that is if I'm saying what I want to see, that's what I want. If they win and they make the playoffs, spectacular. I'd love to make the playoffs. That'd be amazing. I love going to playoff games with the best. It's wonderful. That's exactly what we should be doing out there. But that's is that going to happen? Maybe not. But if those players are playing like they can, I want to see Adam Boqvist take that step to being a great defenseman. I want to see Nick Blankenburg. I've got high thoughts on Blankenburg. So if we can see those players step up and Elvis really kind of take over and get returned to good form, that's what I want to see out of this year. I want to see a team where come the trade deadline, I'm having to talk fans down from, they're not going to make big moves because this isn't the year. Because the thing is, you get one more year of these guys developing. You get Cole Sillinger into a true number one role. And then when you have a Boone Jenner at a second line center, that's much more where a team like this could actually win and maybe do a couple of things. Maybe there's one more trade to make in there in that next season. I don't know. I don't think this year's the year to really be like, hey, playoffs are bust. I think next year's the year we need to be talking about that a little bit more. So that's my thoughts on what to look for this season. I'm personally kind of excited about it and where that's going to go. But we will continue from there. Oh, I'm back. Look at that. The video's back at me. So the question becomes, where does that really help a team or hurt a team? What's going on there? Well, a recurring theme in this article, again, I recommend you go read the whole thing, but a recurring theme in this article is essentially so many teams in the league saying, yeah, you look at what we do, but then you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and it's like a whole different world, because the Maple Leafs have essentially the Maple Leaf Enterprise Sports Entertainment can just print money and do whatever they want as far as adding talent and to their front office and building gyms and all that kind of stuff. And then the kind of for the other side of it, they focus on the Hurricanes and Tom Dundon's whole strategy of, I think it's better if you're kind of lean. The way he terms it is, I want people who are always hungry. He talks about if you have too many people, it kind of can muddy the waters and nobody really knows whose job is what. But it did make me curious. So I did a quick cursory look at both the Blue Jackets website and the Maple Leafs website to look at their staffs. Most NHL teams have this where you can go look at their hockey operations staff. The Blue Jackets way of doing it, they even had that, and then they have a place where you can go in and say, hey, these are all essentially they have like a directory for all the people who work there. They didn't both categorize them the same, so I don't have a perfect comparison for all of them. But when it came to people that we would consider management, the Maple Leafs have 29, the Blue Jackets 17. When we have people who were classified by their respective websites as coaching, the Maple Leafs showed 8, the Blue Jackets 10. Now, I'm wondering how much that management is also coaching, or it's coaching specifically from the Maple Leafs. I don't know. Scouts. People put on their websites as scouts. The Maple Leafs 20, the Blue Jackets 20. Development. The Maple Leafs 9, the Blue Jackets 4. And the Maple Leafs listed a department called research that had 7 people. The Blue Jackets didn't seem to have an equal comparable to that I could find. So in total, the Maple Leafs, probably the most well-staffed place in hockey, 73 total staffers, the Blue Jackets 51. What I would say is an encouragement for Blue Jackets fans out of this is the fact that the Blue Jackets have as many scouts as the Leafs do. Because if you'll all remember, even prior to COVID, there was this big push where teams were trying to save money. The one that sticks out most in my head was the Ottawa Senators, by trying to have as many of their scouts, trying to minimize their scouting staff and have them all scout by doing video watching of teams, which, depending on the scout you talk to, that could be fine or that can just be a terrible plan. But I found this whole thing interesting to see. Yeah, to a large extent, the Blue Jackets are keeping up with those expenses, and it's going to tie into something else we're going to talk about here in a bit. But like the renovations they did last year to the locker room, and then this year they're doing to the gym, and to the on-site, fitness center for the Jackets. I mean, if you've ever taken tours of that arena and gone down to that area, I mean, the Blue Jackets Fitness Center before, it was fine. It was okay. I will be honest, when I toured it before, I'm like, this is this is what the gym is like for a NHL team. Really? That's what we're doing here, guys? But they're doing a big upgrade. So it should be something else. It's nice to see the team put money back into the franchise. The ownership do so, which jumps into our next story about the NHL putting in these digital enhanced dasher boards. So this is where I'm at. So there's been a lot of hubbub about the ads. And in the last years, there's been a couple of big ones. There was ads on the jerseys, ads on the helmets, and now we're getting these digital dasher boards. First, my opinion on the ones that are actually worn by the players, the one on the jerseys and the ones on the helmets. When I'm watching a game, I don't even notice. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. The one thing I'm kind of annoyed by that I might have to find my way around is the jerseys in the team store have the little Safelite logo on them now for the Jackets. And I would rather that the jerseys I can buy not be that. Because as a fan, here's my thing. So I buy this Safelite jersey. I just buy this jersey with the little Safelite logo. What if next year you change the sponsor? Then I'm walking around forever with the Safelite logo on me, and it's not even what the jersey looks like anymore. I mean, if it was somewhere it was kind of like, and I get that soccer's done it for years, but that's the thing. They've done it for years. People are used to that. Over here, I'm like, I'm not feeling it as far as like on what I want to buy and have as a jersey. The dashboards thing. I am still withholding judgment so far. In an article and in a follow-up thing I saw, they said the NHL brought in some expert who looked over the, tested it somehow and said that this was actually easier on the eye than seeing, a dozen different dashboards to see one kind of consistent ad across the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it is. I'm withholding judgment. So far, the only games I've watched with it were the two that happened in the Czech Republic between the Predators and the Sharks. And then I was watching on like a laptop. I wasn't really watching much of them in terms of my full, your actual big screen TV there. So I'm going to withhold judgment until I watched a few games with them on the TV. And if I like them, or I probably won't like them, but the best thing is if I just kind of can ignore them. So we'll see how that goes. But I do understand when you're talking about some smaller market teams like, the Blue Jackets. We've discussed this before on this show. And again, if you haven't been here for a year, I get why you don't remember it, because obviously I haven't been here. This is the team that, with the way I think it is run and what things have kind of led me to believe is run, is the McConnells run this and say, we don't want it to be a drain, but we're willing to put in some money here and there. We don't want to lose a fortune on this thing, but at the same time, we're not looking to make a profit on it. So from a fan's perspective that way, anytime there's new revenue added, I think more of it's going to go into the team. Now, granted, as we talked about, the Maple Leafs have that advantage. Well, they also now have dashboard money and shirt money and all that too, and they'll have more. But it does give the Blue Jackets a chance to catch up on a few things there. So find that interesting. Last story I want to talk about today is about the Coyotes. The Coyotes going to Arizona State. This is going to be relatively short. I mean, a lot of people said a lot of things about this, but my opinion on this is relatively simple. They've got this year to hammer out and to guarantee there's going to be a new full-time arena for the Coyotes in the Phoenix area. Because I think this is something where the current ownership group was able to sell Bettman on. Yeah, we really think we're going to be able to build this new Tempe arena. From what I understand, the money that the land they're buying it from, the land that they're buying, and as a partner in it is going to be Arizona State. And as a fan of a team from Columbus, I understand that when there is a large state college in the middle of a major city, that college can have some political pull. So if Arizona State wants the deal to get done for there to be that new arena, it probably will. And if they get a deal, if come in 6 weeks or 2 months or whatever, there's the official, yep, we're having this, we're going to build this arena, we're going to do this. Then them spending 2 or 3 years in the college arena will be a fun tidbit to their history. If we're sitting here in March and there is no arena, or if we get to April and it's like, nope, the city council's defeated it, it's not happening, I think as quick as next year, you could see Arizona, you could see the Coyotes somewhere else. Because that's the thing. We've got at least 2 cities with ready-made arenas where you could just put an NHL team. Put them in Houston, put them in Quebec. I think Houston's more likely, but that's the thing. We have 2 cities that could just immediately take a team and go with it. So that's what I think is going to happen here. I think, and from what I understand, I think there are good reasons to be optimistic if you're a Coyotes fan. So I'll say that. I have no ill will towards them. I mean, I know there's a lot of people with Coyotes fans who are, anytime you mention the idea of them moving, they get upset. And I don't want the team to move. I hate sports teams moving, so I'd rather that not happen. And something else, there was a big hullabaloo about, the arena, the players were unhappy about the locker rooms or whatever. I mean, apparently the team actually paid to build extra locker rooms that were at NHL standards for the Coyotes specifically, but they won't be done till December. So that's not a big deal. But anyway, all right, folks, here we go. Wednesday night, home opener against Carolina. Friday night, Wednesday night season opener at Carolina. Friday, home opener against Tampa, and then St. Louis on Saturday. And then I will be talking to you again on Sunday, doing my next round of stuff here. So I'm excited about it, guys. I'm happy to be back. Glad the Jackets are back. And let's have a fun season. And go Jackets. Please subscribe to the show, follow us on Twitter at Jackets Debrief, and thank you for listening.